Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Trade Talks Live. Happy freaking Friday to you. I hope you have had a wonderful week. I know, man, we've got so much accomplished around here today and all week long that, I'm really excited about it. But if you've never been here before, welcome to the show. We go live 10 o'clock Central Standard Time every day, Monday through Friday, except for, of course, national holidays or days that maybe we have to travel. But, man, welcome to the show. Hang out for a little while. We talk about 11 different topics about the trades, and we rotate the topics around, so it's not always the same. But welcome back. Glad to have you here. If you're new to the show, man, hang out, visit, have a good time, and then returners, we love y'all.
That's it. Happy Friday, everybody. Henry Wakefield, Randy, aka Squirt. You're gonna hear them all, and then some more, I'm sure. I was a 20-year.
Some of them aren't nice. I'm gonna be honest.
That's it for sure. This is my dad, so that's why some of them aren't nice for sure. And we were both in the trades. I was a 20-year pipe fitter by trade, and that's what brings us here. But we do want to thank League Pro for sponsoring today's episode of the Trade Talks. They let us come in here 5 days a week, 10 a.m. Central, and talk about blue-collar trades every day and any and every trade. But League Pro does build the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. We build two different pieces of equipment. I've got a probe and a sidekick. That probe's T-handle, real durable, stainless rod on it, made for that meter to the home service. Once you go inside the home and you start listening through a slab, you're really going to want that sidekick. It's got an aluminum rod that kind of eliminates that layer of concrete for you. If you want to check out the equipment, you can visit www.leak-pro.com. I also do a training in person here just outside of Dallas, Texas. And if you want to discuss that on learning how to do leak detection, give me a call at 1-8888-LEAK-PRO and let's discuss it.
There's nothing worse than buying new tools and not knowing how to use them. So, the training is phenomenal. We've actually brought in project managers, salespeople, people that know nothing about plumbing, and taught them how to do leak detection. They're like, wow, you know what? This is really, really neat. So we've got the system set up really, really good. Come by, check it out. I think you'll love it. All right, national news. Now, man, I got a problem with this.
Okay. Normally I don't put anything kind of too wild in national news, but today this one kind of stood out and I was like, you know what? Let's talk about this.
Yeah, well, we're going to, all right. So here's my thing, and I love it that we're working with South Korea and their shipyards and all that. But my thought is, there's a lot of different things that we could do, because I'm thinking, remember when they built the bridges here in Dallas, and the union blew a gasket because they were bringing welders over from Italy. And they brought their own welders because that's where they had these bridges manufactured, which to me is, again, hello.
Yeah.
And the union's like, wait, why y'all got these welders here? Well, they got to know how to weld a special way. Well, wait, we've got welders that can pass any certs y'all have got. They ended up getting rid of the Italy welders.
Yeah.
And having union welders weld.
I had one of my welders that worked for me actually in Farmer Brothers coffee plant. He worked on a bridge here in Dallas. There wasn't any other welder that could pass the cert. He passed. So he ended up having to weld all the major joints, like through all the stuff, because nobody else could pass it. And I'm like, dude, kudos to you. Like, that is awesome. But some people couldn't pass the test because it was a very specific way. Everything had to be done. He was great at listening and doing what he was told and following the right process.
Okay, so in a minute, we're going to talk about business growth and expanding services into new opportunities. And I want to talk about that right here in the national news, because I'm reading this morning, and I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. I know we need more skilled trades workers, and we're going to talk about that too. But my thought is, if I'm a union contractor and I've got welders, I'm thinking, why can't we help the United States Navy build and repair their ships.
Well, we've got a shortage of workers in these shipyard areas that work on ships. Like, it's a special trade, and I get that. I understand it. We should have plenty of people to be able to do it,
But we don't.
but we don't, because what's been pushed most of my lifetime that I've always heard, go to college, go to college, go to college. Well, guess what? I don't think there's many college folk out there building ships.
They can fix a ship. Yeah.
Okay, so
Quit going to college, people.
quit going to college. I feel like we've kind of hurt ourselves there because we were trying to make it to where everybody needs college. Well, okay, some people aren't made for college, and going through the school system and stuff, you could see some were made for it, some weren't. And that's fine. I love that I went through a trade school and learned a trade, not just straight to a normal college.
And yes, that is applause for Randy.
It's not even turned up right now.
Oh, well, then maybe y'all didn't even hear that. How do we know it's not turned up? Oh, looky there. See? Okay, let's try it again. I'm sure it's there. So yeah, don't do that anymore. Or, gee, y'all turn that way up. But here's the thing. And go ahead and talk about it. We got South Korea shipyards are now playing a major role in repairing and maintaining
U.S. Navy vessels.
the U.S. Navy ships.
The USNS Wally Shira was recently repaired at a shipyard in Busan, making the first time a South Korean company has handled major U.S. naval maintenance.
That sounds like Busan to me.
Now, this collaboration
Sorry.
helps address delays in U.S. shipbuilding and repair, as American shipyards are facing workforce shortages, just like we were talking about. Now, the U.S. military is increasingly looking to allied nations for ship maintenance to keep all the fleets operational around the world, because we know we've got them everywhere.
Okay. I'm like, really? Come on.
It kind of blew my mind that to even see it come up. So it was like, you know what? Let's discuss just a little and see what is going on.
Okay. I'm Am I close?
Yeah. Right here.
Up on.
Down. Yep.
So I'm gonna let you drive through this website while I get ready to share the screen. But we're talking about websites.
Both of these mice control the same pointer.
No,
So
I
you're
understand that. So, it's funny. Square hates it when I try new things. But now go ahead. You've got the website pulled up. Let's talk about website review. We're talking about electrical construction and maintenance, the ECNM website. And Squirt's got it pulled up right here. And I'm going to leave my mouse alone because I want to grab it. But go ahead. You talk about this site and what it is. Well, let me tell you. ECM is a premier resource for electricians, covering industry trends, best practices, and the big deal, the NEC code updates. And we talk about code updates all the time.
And that's one of the main things that I liked here. I believe it's here in the training. Yeah, National Electrical Code. Everything's another. But here's your code basics so that you can actually go through here. We talk about solar a lot, and that's becoming a new thing and everything. Guys, here's some of your NEC requirements for solar, part 1s and 2s, requirements for service, different things that they actually require. You can go through this website and you can start studying and researching, getting some of the training before actually going into a company and doing some things. And if you're trying to get into the trade and you have no experience, if you walk in and tell them that you've been studying this stuff online, it's going to set you apart from everybody that has no experience, that hasn't done any research whatsoever. So doing some things like this, using these sites, is a really good thing, I think.
And a neat thing about it, go ahead. It also features expert articles on electrical safety, energy efficiency, and job site troubleshooting. So this is going to help you if you're an electrician, help you learn and grow and look at different things. Contractors can stay updated on the latest in switchgear, panel boards, and industrial automation. Guys, we know automation is one of the hottest topics in the world right now because of AI and everything it can do. And the website also provides deep dives into smart building integration. Again, we talk about building smart and integration and automation and electrical system design. So this is really, really neat.
Had this happen one time to me on a job site. You find out real quick, good grounding on a welding machine is very important.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If not, you don't get a good weld.
That's it. It'll arc out where the connections actually are to the ground. Covers PPE stuff on the safety side, guys, how to choose the right stuff for depending on which voltages you're working on, things like that. Just lots of cool stuff here. Oh, is it still keeping it on the first page, I bet? Or did we share screen? Okay, we did. Perfect.
Yeah, I'll share it.
Good.
So whatever you're sharing, you're good.
No,
Yeah.
I was just making sure that the tabs were switching.
Yeah, I think I did it the right way.
It's got some design, some construction, all sorts of stuff through here, guys. And my favorite here is the top 40 design firms. If you're looking, you want to get into design, here's the
These
top
are the people
40
you
firms.
want to go to work for.
This is who you really want to go work for. The top 50 contractors list. Get out there, find the right electrical contractor. Everybody's always asking, who are the big boys? Here's you a list to find out which are the top contractors in the country to try to get a job with them so that you can learn from the best, because most of the larger companies have really good training programs. They've got good workers that pass that knowledge down to the new up-and-comers also.
And the neat thing is, this is going to help you stay ahead of code changes. Guys, we talk about that all the time. You have to stay up to date on everything going on. It's going to help you learn about the latest tools, which we love making videos about all the time. Thank you, Milwaukee. And it's going to improve your electrical system efficiency. Guys, we manufacture Leak Pro, but we're constantly looking at what can we do to update our circuit boards? What can we do to improve anything and everything we do? And things like this is going to help you get better at what you're doing. So if you're an electrician, and look, guys, I teach people all the time. When you get up in the morning, if you will study your niche, your industry, your trade for 30 minutes to an hour every day, by the end of the year, you're going to be in the top 5% of your industry because nobody else is doing that. And if you want to be one of the forerunners, the leaders in your industry, guys, that's how to do it. So I do. I like that. Such a great deal. So, man, that's a good one. It really is. Not that they're normally not good. When Squirt brings some up, sometimes it's like, wait, what? What are we doing here? Okay, now we're going to talk about this one because business growth. And we talked about it a minute ago about expanding into new opportunities. Constantly look at the world around you and see what's coming. And, I learned this from Gary Vee. Gary Vee says, look, most marketing companies right now are looking at what worked between 2020 and 2025.
Yeah.
We're looking at what's going to work from 2025 to 2030. Where do we need to be? Not where do we need to stay?
Yep.
And, I love being able to talk about stuff like this, because if you're going to grow your business, expanding into new opportunities, if you're an electrical company right now and you're not looking at solar, you're not looking at wind turbines, what?
EV chargers.
Yeah. We talk about those so often because there's not enough of them. And the world is just like, look, guys, if we're going to sell more cars, we need more chargers.
Yeah. Smart devices, smart panels. I think it's so cool that there's a smart panel now that'll actually keep an eye on the power in your home.
I want one.
That's pretty cool.
I know it is.
I do. I'm kind of curious, and I want to do some research as to what it would take to upgrade my panel, because I've got kind of a small panel, small house. Maybe not too bad. I'm curious what all it would take.
And if you can add these complementary services to your bottom line, guys, you're going to increase revenue.
Yep.
Because you're going to be able to grow in ways other people aren't doing. HVAC contractors, guess what? The company that bought me out was an HVAC contractor. They wanted to grow into plumbing. Here's where that's good. Automatically, they can take, once they acquire me, they can send out an email to all of their customers saying, hey, we now do plumbing.
If you were happy with our HVAC service,
You're gonna love our
plumbers.
And then they can take the customer list from the plumbing company and send the email out to them and say, hey guys, look, we now do HVAC too. If you loved our plumbing services, you're really going to love our HVAC services. So that, it works. But electricians specializing in smart home automation, plumbers, slab leaks, leak detection, whole house water filtration systems. What is it that a lot of people aren't doing? Because diversification helps businesses stand out in competitive markets and capture and retain more clients. If you come in my house and you're like, hey man, look, I noticed your HVAC system is really old and your filters are dirty. We have an HVAC company that we recommend. Actually, it's us. And I would probably call Tony and send Tony over here. Tony's great. You're going to love him. And they're like, yeah, go ahead. You learn to teach your techs to start cross-promoting the other companies that you have. And then training certification programs make it easier to add new skills without slowing down current work. You know, we've had people reach out to us about training on Leak Pro. They're like, look, I can't shut down my whole company. Yep. Okay, we get that. We've had a company. I mean, we have several now, but we've had a plumbing company and we never want to shut down the whole thing. But you know what? If I could take 2 trucks or 3 trucks, slow them down, have 1 or 2 trucks still running for emergencies, you can get most of your people trained in a couple of days. Now they get back. Now you send your other 2 trucks down. Now you've got everybody trained in a very short period of time.
Yep. Yeah, it's work with people. What we learn, give and take, be able to do the training, do some lunch and learns, things like that. I did a lot of this whenever I first moved into the office space. I learned about lunch and learns. We don't hear about it much in the field.
No, because we don't learn anything in the field.
We don't learn anything
out
in the field. But the manufacturers and stuff come out and they will sit there. They provide lunch, first off, but they teach you about the new products that they've got coming that can benefit you in your trade, in your field. And it's pretty cool to be able to just have your normal day going and do a little bit of learning during your lunch break. So it worked out really good.
All right, I'm going to jump in the comments here real quick. Got David Beerworth. Welding certs are king or queen. Man, they're king. Yep. You got to have them. Union versus open shop is always slippery slope. I disagree. I think that there's benefits to each. And David, look, my background, my history, I was in open shop for 17 years, then the union for 24, and then probably another 7. Well, that adds up to a lot.
All in Texas.
All in Texas.
So it's kind of a right to work state. So it's not too slippery of a slope here, I think, for the most part. Some parts of the country, it can be, I suppose.
And I like this. Joe Gilbert says, why not train military personnel into those transition jobs when they retire or don't reenlist? Look, I believe when you've got military people trying to get into civilian life, transitioning, I think the trades are probably the greatest opportunity in the world for them. And Joe, I've tried talking to a lot of different military branches about helping me put together a package to help them do it. I think it would be greatness. Smart has a program near Colorado Springs and a joint base McCord in Washington. A lot of people are doing it. A lot of points for those to learn. Absolutely. Excellent point on knowledge and education. Thank you. No, thank you, David. I appreciate it. And you got mentioned too. Thank you, Squirt.
Thank you.
David, look, and Joe both. Look, we love what we get to do. And we're trying to help the trades all the way around. So it's a huge deal. And it's funny because that rolls us right into our service work, addressing skilled labor shortages. And I took some notes. But a skilled trade is an occupation requiring specialized knowledge, skills, and abilities, often involving hands-on work with tools, materials, such as plumbing, electrical work, or welding. But here's a more detailed breakdown. Skilled trades are jobs that demand a high level of technical proficiency and expertise in a particular craft or area. Now, listen to what ChatGPT says skilled trades are. Construction trades being skilled, electricians, plumbers, carpenters, welders, HVAC techs, masons, people like that. Automotive trades, automotive service techs and mechanics, industrial trades, heavy equipment operators and machinists, other skilled trades, registered nurses, chefs, dental hygienists, home inspectors, aircraft maintenance, and technicians. So, we talk to really, you look at what all we talk about. We talk to the skilled trades. Daggum near all of them.
Yep. That's what this channel is for. Is for every trade.
So, okay, labor shortages. Let's talk about it.
So here's what the statistic said this morning per ChatGPT. There's a growing shortage of skilled tradespeople with over 500,000 open positions in the U.S. construction industry. I'd say over that by a lot. Many contractors are focusing on recruiting young workers through apprenticeships and vocational school partnerships. I went through a trade school where you work, you're making money, you're learning at the same time you go to school. For me, it was a couple nights a week. That's great, especially if you start out with family, things like that. You've got to earn while you're out there, and it's out there to be made. Even better if you're single and you can go out there and travel, hit the road, making serious money because the per diems and stuff add up just for you being away from home. So that's a really cool thing. Some companies are increasing wages and benefits to attract skilled professionals. And we know that a lot of people are retiring, so it's hard to get those really good guys in. Pay is going to be increasing for sure because the demand is increasing as well.
And I'm looking up some stuff. You're good. Go ahead.
So technology and automation, like robotic drywall finishers, are being introduced to help fill labor gaps. Yesterday I was talking about a robot that lays a roof. There's robots that set cinder blocks for a whole home. We talk about 3D printing and things like that. Got a pretty good one we'll pull up next week. But we're trying to do a lot of things to overcome this labor shortage. But mainly, we need more people, guys. We need more people in the trades. And it's a good thing to get into. I loved putting in a mechanical room. It's like they asked me the other day, do you miss it? And it's like, yeah, all the time. Like I loved going in and putting piping systems in mechanical rooms to operate buildings. It made me feel good about everything that I did.
And here's the thing. Anytime that you've got a labor shortage, you've got an opportunity to make more money. If you can take on new skill sets and learn new things and move up, I've been saying for a long time, guys, plumbers are going to be making over $100 an hour on a check here pretty soon. It's coming. So you can be that guy or girl. I mean that no way at all. If you can be that person that has the most amazing skill sets, that you can bring more value to the companies you work for, you're going to make more money. And people talk all the time, well, with AI coming and this, and look, AI is going to make our lives even better because we can work smarter, not harder. So I think this is just all good stuff. All right, now we're talking about one of my favorite. Okay, we're talking materials, equipment, and tools, but smart plumbing fixtures. Smart plumbing fixtures like touchless faucets and leak detection sensors, leak detection equipment are becoming standard in modern homes and companies. If you're not using this stuff or you don't know about it, stuff you need to start looking at. Fixtures help homeowners conserve water and monitor their plumbing systems remotely. Look, I think remote leak detection is one of the smartest things you can have. And the reason I say that is that if you're on vacation and you get a notification that, hey, there's a problem at your house, your water meter's running, it hasn't stopped, and you're like, wait, ain't nobody supposed to be at my house right now. You can literally just press a button on your phone and your water heater shuts off, or your water shuts off to your house.
That prevents so much damage.
That prevents massive floods.
Yes.
is exactly what it prevents. But the cool thing about it is, that technology's here. And if you're in the trades, if you're a plumber, think about it. Or did you already know about this? Are you using it? Are you installing it? Are you talking about it? Because if you're not telling people about it or do anything about that, is your competitor? I remember one of the big plumbing companies here in town, when tankless water heaters first came out, they bought like 2,000 of them. And they set a low price and said, look, you want tankless water heater? We'll install them for you. They used those first 2,000 to learn how to do it better than anybody else.
I was going to say, they learned in that how to become the most efficient
Absolutely.
installers in the area.
Yeah. And the people that were out doing it and learning, they were teaching other people. That way they learn from each other's mistakes. Such a great thing to do.
Yeah, I'm sure that first week was at the end of every day. All right, everybody huddle up. What did y'all learn about this today? And kind of spitballing all that information.
And if you look at this and take everything in behind it, if you understand Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and connectivity, I've got a washer and dryer at home. I still can't get connected. Okay, but that's not my special. Don't you be laughing.
It's the Internet of Things.
It's the IoT, baby. It's all over the place.
Yes.
But if you can be the person or the company, imagine if you're a plumber right now and you're like, you know what? I want to learn this. And you get online for, I'm going to say a month. And you spend 30 minutes to an hour every day studying all these different devices. And you walk into your company, it's like, hey, look, man, why don't we start offering this? Well, we don't know anything about it. Oh, yeah, we do. I know about it. Invest in it. If they came out with a Bluetooth water heater, I'd buy it for home tomorrow. I've got a Bluetooth pump on my water heater, but you know. So anyway, most states now offer rebates and incentives for water-saving smart fixtures. Become the person who knows about that. If you know what tax rebates or incentives or grants or anything are available by your cities, your counties, your states, when you can walk in and talk to somebody and say, hey, Squirt, look, I'll talk to you about a tankless water heater. Oh, by the way, the state of Texas is going to give you $2,500 if you install one. You're like, wait, what? It costs $5,000. They're going to give me $2,500. That's a no-brainer.
My quick thought was, even you find out about some really good incentives that are just now coming out.
And start marketing them.
Market that to your customers that you already have. The list you're. Hey guys, don't miss out. To be able to take advantage of this rebate, this tax incentive, whatever it is. Hey, if 5% of your people show interest, it's going to be pretty good.
You know, and we talk about, yeah, but you want 10% conversion.
Okay.
We talk about San Antonio and how they stay ahead of everybody on water conservation. San Antonio used to deal, if you had a toilet older than 94, they'd give you a new one. They would give them to the plumbers and say, look, you can install these for people. Charge them what you charge them to install them, as long as you don't charge them for the toilet.
Yep.
The toilet is free. It's from us. And man, there were plumbers advertising on our pages all the time. You want, if your toilet's prior to 1994 and you want free toilets, give us a call.
Yep.
You're still being paid for the labor. It didn't cost you anything for the toilet.
And do you know how much that freed up the water treatment facilities there?
Yeah.
A lot. Great way to do it.
Yeah, San Antonio, when I was there, they said in the last 25 years, the population has doubled, but we're using the exact same amount of water. Because that's a city doing great things. Okay. This show is brought to you by Leak Pro. Now, Leak Pro is the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. And, you know, look, we're talking about adding services. We're talking about learning new things. How many times a week or a month do you get a call from customers saying, look, we have a leak or we think we have a leak. We need somebody to come find it. And you're like, yeah, we don't do that. One of the last guys that came out said that the leak detection service over in his area or up in his area was 6 weeks out. Can you imagine having a leak on your house and saying, yeah, we'll get there in 6 weeks?
Turning the meter on and off, or your isolation valve or whatever, on and off for 6 weeks of showers and filling the toilet back up, wanting to wash the dishes. That's a lot.
It is. So we've got Leak Pro. Leak Pro is the most precise equipment that there is. And look, I've tried a lot of them. I've gone through a lot of training. This is the one that when I saw it, I fell in love, and I'm like, this is the magic right here. It's the easiest system to use. Not a lot of switches and buttons and knobs and all that. You've got one knob. You've got a volume knob on your headset and a button to make it turn on to where you're not busting your ears every time you touch something. But you want to find out more about Leak Pro, go to www.leak-pro.com and look at the complete kit. That gives you the sidekick and the probe. The sidekick has an aluminum rod. The probe has a stainless steel rod. There's a difference in the way you use them and the way they sound, and that's why we have both. When you buy that, you also get 2 sets of headphones. That way, if you're not sure where the leak is and there's no isolation valve and you want to listen to the yard and the house, you can do that. But then look at the training. Learning how to use the most precise leak detection system in the world is going to be a good thing for you. It's going to help you make more money. So if you want to learn more about it, give Squirt a call at 1-8888-LEAK-PRO. Or, like I said, check out the website, www.leak-pro.com. So, MEP.
MEP here. You know, we talk about BIM a lot.
We
do. And like
We know good BIM people.
twin buildings and all this stuff. We know some great BIM people. Today I want to talk about the role of BIM in MEP coordination. And guys, I can remember being in the field so many times because the plan showed this and it showed me at this elevation. Well, their plan showed them at that elevation too. There was no true coordination here to make sure there were no collisions anywhere in the building.
And when you're in the field and you call the CAD team, they're like, well, yeah, we know we had collisions there, but we figured y'all'd work it out in the field. That's not always a great way to do it.
Not always a great way to do it. So BIM came into place, building information modeling, guys. They build it, they put every system in this model. Any pipes that run into each other, ducts that run into each other, pipes that run down a wall center, anything like that. Every trade is incorporated into this model pretty much to make sure everybody has a place that they can fit in the building and make everything operational. So BIM allows teams to create that 3D model for HVAC, electrical, and plumbing systems. These are your major systems. The other one that I would add into that needs to be there is the fire suppression system. That's mainly set at a specific elevation here in Texas in most buildings, but still, I love to see that in the model too, just to verify, because that's the only other trade that kind of hits a lot of collisions throughout a building.
And they feel like the redheaded stepchild because a lot of time they're not invited into the BIM and all that.
That's it. But this reduces on-site conflicts, material waste, because everything that you put in, guess what? A lot of that stuff, you can't just reuse it. It takes so much more man hours to cut some welded fittings out and reuse them than it does just to buy a new one sometimes. And it cuts down rework.
It's supposed to.
It's supposed to. That helps mental health from the workers on the job site a lot, because when you do hit that frustrating time and you're running into somebody because y'all both got told the same elevation, it's frustrating because then you're in the field trying to figure out who's really going to move.
And it's a pissing match.
And that is all it is. It's a big pissing match. Like I've dealt with it with the same company I worked for, but the other trade, where they just tore my stuff down and they're like, well, no, we had to be in there. And I'm like, well, I knew you had to be there, but I specifically laid it out so that y'all could still do all your stuff. And then once they realized it, they're like, yeah, we'll send somebody up there to fix that. Thank you. Like, I'll go check it after.
I like the church puts in, says the younger generation doesn't know hard work, doesn't want to work, doesn't want to learn. Social media apps cooked the younger generation into a distraction that, into a distraction than a tool to grow. Yeah. But they're learning. I think you know, look the new Gen X, Gen Zs, they're looking at getting into the trades. It's becoming a viable opportunity.
I was going to say it's starting to actually become a thing now. Like, a lot of them actually are interested in trades. Not all. We need more of them for sure.
David Barworth says the rising storm, a lightcast demographic, lightcast great read, lack of bodies that are trained. And, you know, guys, look, we're going to run into problems. If we don't start training people, if we don't start doing more, it's going to get worse. I mean, it is going to get a lot worse. Okay, so where the work is, and you love retrofits.
I do.
I know.
I moved into the industrial division of our company where I was going into actual manufacturing plants that were operational and putting new things in. So happy because for me, I've got ADHD. My brain thinks of so many different things at one time.
Don't know where you got that.
So being in this active plant fed my brain a lot because it's like, okay, make sure all of their stuff is running smooth and we are getting our work in and all my workers have a place to work and be able to produce every day.
And all workers stay safe.
And all workers on both sides.
Yes, that's
stay
what I mean.
Safe.
Not just yours.
Yep.
Yeah. It's fun to work.
It is.
And fun to be safe. But when you're working around other people and you have to keep them safe too, Texas Instruments.
Yes.
Man, there's people up and down the halls all day long.
That's right.
And that's where you're working.
You have barricades. You have different ways to keep their personnel out of the danger zones. Okay. Like we would work right next to them, sometimes doing some simple things. Wasn't a big deal. And we clearly knew what we could do. But most of the time, everything we were behind caution tape, danger tape, depending on what we were doing at the time, where nobody could enter. But I was cutting big pits in the floor too in a lot of these spaces. Like,
yeah, sometimes you shut off the entire hallway.
I would have all sorts of stuff, and then they're like, "Well, hey, by this date, we really need access to this door." And it's like, okay, let me see what I can shift around and make work for you.
We can try to make that
and
happen.
that's it, you know.
The older buildings are being modernized with energy efficient HVAC all the time, updated electrical systems, and new plumbing designs. And guys, look, waterless urinals. I mean, I was there when they first came out, and everybody in the beginning is like, "Oh my God, these are never going to work." Well, no, not if you install them. You don't teach maintenance how to maintain them. You don't teach the cleaning people not to just pour a 5-gallon bucket of hot water in it that rinses out all the chemicals, and then they start stinking because they're not working right. Well, it's just because there was lack of communication, lack of education. Government incentives for green upgrades are driving demands for commercial retrofits, installing all these things we're talking about right there. Retail office spaces are being redesigned to fit hybrid work models and flexible layouts. Guys, people don't want just a cookie cutter everything. So the flexibility in that makes it amazing. And then contractors specializing in renovations are seeing steady growth, especially in urban areas. Guys, I mean, think about it. With a new house these days, costing what it costs. Now, I've lived in my house for 24 years now. I've never done a lot of work on it. I never needed to. I mean, it's like, you know what? It's me. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to laugh. I've still got my original carpet. But I take good care of it. It does not look bad.
It is not bad. Like,
it does not look bad. But I upgraded my carpet when I moved in, so I knew that I had a good one. But the thing is, it would be cheaper for me to remodel my house. Say I wanted to add a swimming pool and redo the kitchen and bathrooms. 150 grand, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm living in a house that to me is now new. And I didn't have to go spend, I think, $700,000-800,000 right now.
That's it. And I think that's why a lot of these commercial renovations are happening, because
buildings are the same way.
Some people in some prime locations close the doors.
Yeah.
Those spaces become available. Well, guess what? You can change any space into what you need, depending on, like, not too extravagant. Come on.
No, they can't be extravagant.
You can't increase size too much. Is what I mean.
Yeah. Hey,
like you're
raise
limited to the
ceiling.
actual space.
Right. Raise the floor. We want both floors.
You can take a shopping department store that only sold clothing, has one bathroom, and you can turn that into a kitchen and a restaurant.
Yeah.
It's no problem.
Yeah. Construction
workers can make that happen. This is becoming a big thing because there's so many good locations, and a lot of places are phasing out. You know, just like in the trades, we've got a lot that are getting older and retiring. I'm sure it's the same in a lot of other things too. Well, because you're older than me. Not by much. I know my gray's sitting.
I know your gray's starting to take over. I see it.
Bad.
It's funny though, because, you know, I have a lot of friends that have a lot of different businesses. And one of the big companies has a pretty good section of a floor in one of the big office buildings in Dallas. Amazing views and all that. And he's like, they're wanting me to move again. Well, when he moves, it's like a $2 million remodeling budget, but he's leasing like 10, 12,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So whatever, don't ever think, oh, they're not going to build what I want. They're not going to do it the way I want. You can literally negotiate anything, especially when you're renting or leasing that kind of stuff. So, and I can make that go away or not. Yeah, I normally don't put links on here, David. So just kind of remember that, if you will, sir. Here's the deal. We are moving into instructor training. And this is a good one.
It is, and it's big. We really need more of this. I love that all my kids are polite and proper for the most part. Enhancing soft skills for client relations. If you were a tradesperson that came up in the new construction world and you're moving into service, you probably don't have a lot of soft communication skills. No offense. I didn't deal with a lot of customers until I started climbing the ranks more. Then I was actually dealing with the clients direct. So I had to learn a lot of soft communication skills to be able to do this and communicate properly with the customer, because it takes some learning to be able to do that the right way so that you're not rubbing anybody wrong and your trade mind doesn't show too much.
And look, I'm bringing up a website here. Today's Professional. Elevate your brand. And this is actually a good site because there's training out there. And a lot of young kids, say your trades company is hiring interns from college, and they bring them in. Well, you know what? When they were in college, they were literally taught, hey, you know what? Let's go out. We're going to go drinking. We're going to have shots. We're going to do this. Well, then when the waiter comes up at a table and they're taking customers, I was like, what would you like? You know what? Get us a round of shots. And the business owners are dealing with like, wait, what do you mean? We don't do shots. But some people don't know. But, when you are in the trades too, the more human skills you can develop, the better off you're going to be, because leadership, management, and all that, it all starts with listening and empathy and communicating. And this is really what a lot of it has to do with.
That's it. Even as a journeyman teaching your apprentice, you're a leader. You are teaching them. They are learning your habits. If you've got good ones, they're learning good habits. And if you've got bad ones, they're learning bad habits, I hate to say. Go through some of these trainings and things to learn the right way to communicate on every level. It's how I would think to put that.
and look, there's great things to do, but teaching apprentices how to handle difficult customers and communicate with them will help prevent disputes.
Big time.
Because they're going to become a plumber one day. They're going to become the journeyman. And if all they've ever heard you do is bitch, moan, complain, and argue, guess what they're going to do?
Yeah.
The same thing.
That's it. And like, one of the first people you need to teach these to is the apprentices, because they're the first ones that they didn't know better. You've got to teach them better quick before they accidentally spew something out in front of the customer that shouldn't have ever been said. So you do have to run through and actually teach this a lot.
And look, the great thing about it is soft skills, the communication especially. That training can help workers negotiate better pay, land more jobs, get better opportunities, get promoted faster. Did you hear what I said first? Get more pay. There were times I was in the union, I was making double scale. Guys, that's negotiable. And, Randy's heard me talk about a guy coming over and saying, hey, I need you to come back to work for us. And I'm like, he slid me over an offer sheet, and I'm like, man, I make more money than that right now. He's like, well, just think about it. It's like, man, there's nothing to think about. And he called back a week later and said, "Why hadn't I heard from you?" I said, "Because I told you I'm already making more than that. Well, why would I leave?" So he says, "Let's meet." And we sat down and talked. Well, I found out later that the head MEP superintendent said, "You're not getting this job if you don't have Roger on, because Roger makes things happen." And he knew that. So it was good. Now, this is another one that I like because we're talking about specialty. And y'all know I'm a lead AP. Well, I also have my WSPS, which is a water supply protection specialist. And in Texas, that's what you need to do rainwater harvesting. And gray water can also become part of that. And I remember going and bidding a job one day for is gray water reclamation and rainwater harvesting here in, might have been Richardson. But man, there's a lot to it. And guys, what's good about this, especially with gray water reclamation, it's going to double the work for plumbers because you've got potable water coming in, and then you catch the gray water coming off of, say, a lavatory, a shower, things where there's no possibility of fecal or food or anything like that. You recapture that water. Now you can send it back in to flush the toilets. Even if you want to treat it, you can use it for irrigation. Rainwater harvesting, you can do the same thing with. I've seen rainwater harvesting done where it was treated, where it was actually all the water that they used. Matter of fact, Garrison Brothers bourbon,
I was
all
gonna,
rainwater
I
harvesting.
was going to say rainwater's one of the naturally cleanest waters there are.
You still
clouds
got
are
to
really good
treat
stuff.
it if you're going to store it and things like
You
that.
do have to treat it still, but like as far as part contaminants in the water, I think it's one of the lowest part counts there is.
And I like it. It says gray water systems reuse water from sinks, showers, and washing machines for irrigation and flushing. Okay, talked about that. Some states like California and Arizona offer incentives for installing gray water recycling systems. These systems reduce strain on municipal water supplies and lower utility bills. Plumbers specializing in water conservation can expand their business by offering gray water solutions. Also, rainwater harvesting. Remember that. But remember this. If you're in Colorado, Colorado says they own the rainwater. What the what? If it rains on my house, that's your water. Well, if it damages my house, are you going to pay for it?
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm like, okay, you want to own it? Own it, baby.
Water damaged my roof.
Yeah, we got to talk.
It's your water.
Yeah, we are going to
Yeah,
talk.
I like that.
Not bad at all. But guys, remember too, especially with the rainwater harvesting, you can start off with just little tanks that catch the rainwater off your house and your gutters and water your plants with it.
Yep.
And you say, well, Roger, it's watering the plants when it rains. Okay. A week later, when it ain't raining, use that water.
Use that water.
But you can hook up a hose and a spray to it and make it where it really does work. So there's so many neat things about it. All right. Let's go.
I have a quick question
Go
here on gray water.
I'll make up
Okay.
something if I don't know the answer.
Well, you're a plumber, so you should have a good idea.
Uh-oh.
Let's say here,
Uh-huh.
this is an existing home, long home to so many bathrooms. This probably isn't a good one. Let's think of my house over there.
Okay.
How hard would it be to install a gray water system on an existing?
It's hard. And yours wouldn't be too bad because all your plumbing is
It's
on the
exterior.
exterior wall, back wall.
Yep.
Yours would probably be pretty easy.
Okay.
The washing machine, you're gonna have to tunnel up under to get to it,
Mhm.
but you know that could be done too. But then you've got to get that water out. If you're just gonna use it for irrigation, that wouldn't be bad.
Okay.
But the house that I'm talking about, they were doing a major remodel.
Okay.
I mean,
so they were going in and turning it.
It had been stripped down to the studs. So
Well, and that's why I asked, because something that I wanted to throw in here is if gray water recycling is, you're interested in it, think about it on your next build.
that part's
because
an absolute.
That's a definite thing. Like that's when it is the easiest to add this option
Yes.
in to be able to use.
Yes, indeed.
Is where this was headed. I was curious.
And I love that. Okay, so I'm going to let you talk for a second about Social Media Spotlight Edition. Now, you've got it at that plumber dude. And I think for him, there's a dot between it on TikTok and Instagram. because I found another one that's not him.
Maybe. And I think I pulled this up actually on YouTube whenever I was looking at it.
No, you did. And I was trying to see if he had links to his socials
To his
on here,
socials.
and he doesn't. Yeah, he does right here. If I put this, yeah, there's another tab. So now I'm going to go ahead. Talk about it for just a
I was going
second.
to say, so he's known for hands-on tutorials, tool reviews, funny job site stories. He used to work for this guy over here.
I know.
But he provides some real world troubleshooting insights for both DIYers and professional plumbers. It's what we do a lot on your main channel. You know, we cover all the aspects. You want to learn how to fix something on your own, it's there for you to be able to go out, catch this video, and learn some tips and tricks
Such
on
a
how
big
to do
deal.
it.
Yes.
His content also includes behind the scenes footage from actual service calls, and that's what he does a lot, like kind of a day in the life, replacing this, switching this out, sets a camera up, and goes and does the swap out and the install, and then kind of talks about the things he does in the process.
And look, Shay is a great guy. I'm going to show you just a little bit. Here's his YouTube channel. As you see, I am subscribed. He is on the OD team, and you know, man, he does a lot of good stuff. But he is a really good guy. That's what's neat about it. I had Shay when he was getting going, and that part's neat. Now you look at his TikTok. Couldn't find that one. So Shay, your link is broke. But here is his Instagram. If you click on it,
That dot plumber.
I'm trying to kick it. Yeah, that dot plumber dot dude. But yeah, you scroll through here and look at what all he does, and he's repurposing content. I love that. There's my buddy Nick over at Milwaukee, and yeah, he believes in Milwaukee too. Oh, look at this. He got the same cleaning fitting that we do.
I saw it up
And let's
there
just
and I
show
was
it real
laughing.
quick. I want to see. Yeah, that's Shay using it and talking about it. Pretty cool deal. You know, look, Shay's a great guy. So, you know, that's why we wanted to talk about this one today. Oh, back over to there. But yeah, go check him out. And he's doing good stuff. That's what, sorry about that. Thank you guys. But here's the deal. Look, there's so many good people doing things on social media, and he provides real world things. And that's what's neat. He's still out in the field every day. So I think that's great. The behind the scenes stuff is phenomenal. The best drain cleaners for tough clogs, which we don't like drain cleaners unless he's talking a snake. How to replace leaky shutoff valves without flooding your house. Great one. And plumbing horror stories from the job site. Guys, unfortunately, there are horror stories out there.
Yes, there are. They're good to listen to, though, and learn from, especially if you are a plumber or you're thinking about doing some of your own plumbing sometimes. Think about what you're doing and listen to some of these horror stories from different people, different areas. It's a good thing for apprentices to learn from. I know we were talking in a comment earlier about, you know, how they talk and things like that. Watch some horror stories from people dealing with frustrated customers and things like that to learn what to do in those situations. I feel like I saw one scroll just the other day where the guy blew back up at a customer, and then he's like, man, I really learned, don't ever do that again. Don't lose your cool.
That will
ever,
go viral.
because it will go viral in a bad way. So he learned his lesson, and he was making a post about it going, look, guys, don't lose your cool ever, no matter what.
And guys, remember that, you know, there's apps on phones now where you can record a call. All right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I sometimes record stuff just because I'm not going to remember everything. And the way I take notes, if I'm writing while you're talking, I'm missing something. So I'd prefer to just record it and say, look, I'm good. But imagine that a customer calls you to tell you they got a problem and they're recording it, because if you tell them, hey, we're going to fix it, they want to make sure they've got that recorded. And you blow up at them and they're sitting there looking at the phone like, oh my gosh. Guys, that'll go viral. And it's going to get tagged to your business or to you. You know, I was at an event a few weeks ago, and the guy's talking about a mistake he made. He said, look, my son was doing something. It was a sport, and he felt like the official didn't do what he should have done, and he jumped in. He said, look, I felt for my child. And he jumped in. He said, look, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but the official should have done this. But it went viral. And he's like, look, could it have been handled a different way? Yeah. Would it have gone viral if he wasn't who he was? Probably not. And look, if I reach over and slap Randy right now, it's probably going to go viral.
Clip it.
Wait, let's do that. Let's just see what happens. No,
Next week.
next week.
Tune in next
week on the Trade Talk Live. And we're not going to tell you what day it is.
That's
either, so
right.
you got to be here all week long.
5 days.
But no, but the funny thing is, and there's a comment over here, and I'll bring it up, but it says one bad customer experience will magnify 20-fold. One good experience takes longer. Soft skills are paramount on the level of skills and certifications. And they are. And, I love seeing, especially tradespeople, get in and get training in soft skills, in leadership, in management, in communications, in personality styles. There's so many different things that we can learn and grow with that most people aren't doing. So I do. And David, I appreciate you putting that in, because talking about what we're talking about, you can make yourself amazing just by learning new things. And we talk all the time about people learning their way up. So, and look, Shay is a great guy. Be careful about the horror stories, because they're out there. And like I said, they will go viral. And what David says, if you did something wrong to people, the saying was, they'll tell 10 people. If you do something right for people, they'll tell 1 or 2.
Yep.
Well, now on social media, they don't tell 10, they tell 10,000.
Yeah.
So be careful. All right, rolling into best questions. Says, Zapplejack says, do you know any major buildings looking to implement gray water systems into their homes? I know of a big plumbing company that has an elaborate gray water and rainwater reclamation system. So yeah, it's neat.
I was going to say, I feel like I heard of some neighborhoods that they are trying to do that more in. I don't remember the exact builder that it was or anything, but I have heard of, yes, some neighborhoods are really trying to lean into gray water.
Anthony Gibney, brother, what is up? How are you doing? Says, what's up, fellas? One of the best teachers I've had right there. He must be talking about you.
Must be talking about
Must
me.
be talking about Randy. Wouldn't have been me. They tell me I was a bad teacher.
Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, Anthony, good to see you in here. It absolutely is. David Barworth, absolutely. Guys, here's the deal. We love what we get to do. It's phenomenal. Anthony, it is. It's great seeing in here. This is the Trade Talks Live. We go live every day at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. If you know anybody on the trades, share this with them. Here's the thing. We go live at 10 o'clock because that's lunch on the East Coast. Not that we normally worry about people on the East Coast, but, we try to do something nice. And I'm joking. Y'all know that. I'm actually headed to speak in Virginia here pretty soon.
See?
East Coast, baby.
East Coast.
Florida. East Coast, baby. And I'm flying into Washington. I've never been to Washington.
Yeah?
Pretty neat deal.
Good.
But I think I booked that flight yesterday. I'm having problems with Southwest Airlines, but Anyway, look, share this with other tradespeople. It's live when the East Coast goes to lunch, and then when we go to lunch every day, it's pre-recorded, so you can jump in and hear. And if you want to jump in and ask questions, man, you are good to go. And yeah, Anthony, I know who you are, brother.
No, exactly.
Since I was in your class of Local 100, not sure y'all remember me. Worked with Randy as well. Yeah, we both know you. You're good, man. Good to hear you. I hope you're doing really, really well. The neat thing about it, though, is we love what we get to do. And we're working on bringing in sponsors to talk about different things and do different things. But everything we look at is to make this community even better. So special thanks to Leak Pro. This video is sponsored by Leak Pro. You want to find out more about the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers? Go to www.leak-pro.com. Randy builds them right here just outside of Dallas, Texas. Yes, they are built and made in the USA. Put together right here in the USA, trained right here in the USA. We kind of do it all here, right here in the USA. Matter of fact, better than that, right here in Texas, baby.
And right now, I only sell to the USA.
There you go. we have tried to ship some out. We ship on to Canada or something, didn't we?
I'm working. No,
Oh, okay. We're still working on it.
Got to figure out all the codes and
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn.
Anyway, great stuff. It's an amazing product. I've been trained on multiple leak detection systems. That's the one that I found that I loved, and we ended up acquiring it. And man, it is just the greatest system there is. Randy and I have also designed and built a training center here. I think it's the best one I've seen because I've trained on every one that I was able to find. And what I can tell you is that if you want to get trained how to do it right, we teach you how to locate the lines, find the leak on the lines. We also teach you how to isolate sewer lines, both cast iron and PVC. So if your customers have leaks on their sewer system, you don't have to just walk in and say, look, we need to replace all your plumbing. You can come in and isolate it and say, look, we've tested everything else. This is good, but we do have a leak over here. And that's a good way to do it. So you want to find out more about it, go to www.leak-pro.com or give Randy a call at 1-8888-LEAK-PRO and talk about the training. Zapplejack says, oh, wait, one more here. Anthony says, went to South Carolina and do fire sprinkler design now. Good for you, brother.
Nice.
I like that. I think I'm headed to North Carolina to speak somewhere here soon, too. Zapplejack says, did my class with Bobby Duran, but Roger's videos helped me a lot before I went to take my tradesman's test. Thanks for all the informative videos. And look, I've taken classes with Bobby, too, so I completely get it. Guys, thank you so much for being here. We get to do this each and every day at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. Love having y'all here. And this is why we do it. We're building, I think, an amazing community here and trying to make it all better. We'll be here again Monday at 10 o'clock. Remember, if you're subscribed, hit that bell notification so you get notified every time we go live, which is 10 o'clock Central Standard Time.
Everybody, happy Friday. Enjoy the weekend. Get out there and hit it effing hard. I'm headed to the St. Patty's Day Parade tomorrow in Dallas.
Yeah.
If you're there, swing by. See y'all Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right. Bye, guys.